All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. January 5th, we have 11 games to jump into today. Last night, we ended up going 2-0. Both the Raptors and the Suns covered for us. So, hey, never going to complain about a 2-0 night. We were feeling it last night, but a couple of my leans also hit too. So I feel like we could have had a little bit more action on the board. But 2-0 night, happy about it. The two locks that I wanted to play, we rolled with and, went 2-0 there. If you guys don't know how it works around here, we go through each and every game. I give you what I'm thinking. I give you my lean. But then you guys want to keep an eye on the pinned comment. That is where my final plays will be. And by final plays, I mean what I'm actually going to be rolling with tonight. What I am going to be putting my money on tonight. And, yeah, we're not forcing anything so far in January. We've had a really good January so far. Picking our spots very wisely. Again, guys, this is a heavyweight fight against Vegas. We are not trying to knock them out. We're just trying to point them to death, here and there. Win by decision. Okay, so keep an eye on the pinned comment for my final plays. If I sound like crap, if I look like crap today, it is because we were recording this video super early, but it is what it is. Let's jump into today's video. Here we have our shout out of the day, and shout out to Felipe. Yesterday's hashtag was hashtag rolling. If you guys don't know how to get shouted out, I will explain that to you in just a second. But Felipe had the Grizzlies money line cashing with the underdog there. The Suns -5.5 and Toronto -5.5, which we were both on as well. So Felipe went 3-0 there. Shout out to Felipe, guys. And again, hashtag of the day yesterday was hashtag rolling. If you don't know how to get shouted out, I'm going to give you guys a hashtag. It's a new hashtag every day. A new hashtag at the end of the video. All you guys got to do is use that hashtag and give me your picks. If you have a positive or winning night, you guys got a chance to be shouted out in tomorrow's video. So stay tuned till the end of the video to get today's hashtag of the day. But let's jump right into it here. We have the Hornets hosting the Pistons here. Hornets 9.5-point favorites over the Pistons. The Hornets let us down last time out against Washington. We had them +2, I believe. They lost by 3. And the Pistons now have won 2 in a row. They beat Milwaukee just a couple nights ago, which is kind of crazy. 9.5 points seems like it's a crazy amount, which it is. Like, that is an enormous number for to give the Hornets, or to have the Hornets lay here. But to be honest, the Pistons team, I know they beat Milwaukee. I think they're probably coming off that game feeling like a little bit of a high. I think I'm going to lean with the Hornets in this one. They're coming off a loss, and Pistons coming off a big win. The only reason this might not make the final ticket is because now I'm asking for a double-digit win from the Hornets, who, it's not like they're this powerhouse team. I do like that team. You guys know that. But I'm going to lean Hornets here. I don't love it, though. But I think if this Pistons team comes off of that Milwaukee game kind of like feeling themselves, whereas the Hornets might come off feeling a little bit more fire. Next up, check the pin comment, guys, because I don't think that one makes the final ticket. That's just too big of a number for me to lay, but that is my lean. Next up, we have the Wizards hosting the Rockets here. Wizards 6.5-point favorites over the Rockets. This Rockets team 1-9 in their last 10 games, and they're 1-9 against the spread as well. This Washington team, I mean, they've been a little beaten, bruised. Kyle Kuzma's playing well. They have a few guys that are injured. Bradley Beal and Kyle Kuzma were huge in that win over the Hornets, the one that we just talked about prior to. 6.5 points doesn't seem like all that much here for the Wizards at home, so I think that's where I lean against the spread at home. The Wizards are 11-5. This Rockets team is just kind of a dumpster fire at this point, so I wish that the spread wasn't as high, but I think you gotta roll with Washington in this one. Very similar to how I've been speaking about, and it's funny because the Pistons did beat the Bucks. I will admit that, but it's similar to how I've been speaking about the Rockets and the Pistons as of late. It's like these two teams are in such disarray. You might as well just fade those two teams, and then it comes back to bite me in the ass because the Pistons go and beat the Bucks. But I still think that overall my point stands there. It's like, even if the Pistons, even if the Rockets are playing teams like the Hornets or playing teams like the Wizards, it's like your best bet's probably still to fade those two teams. So I lean Wizards there. Next up, we have the Magic at home. Magic came through for us huge against the Bulls. Magic at home getting 7.5 points against the Sixers here. Shake Milton's out for the Sixers. Thibault's questionable. Maxey is out for Orlando. They have a bunch of injuries still. I go with Sixers here. I think that they're playing really good basketball, winning 5 of the last 6 games. They're a little bit healthier than they have been. In this Orlando team, if they were getting a bunch of points like they were when they played the Bulls, I think we had them at plus 15, and we hammered that, and it was a vengeance game for us because the Bulls had let us down. If they were getting a bunch of points like that here, then maybe I would consider continuing to ride with the Magic. But 7.5 points, I think the Sixers team is far better than the Magic, and I think 7.5 points is a little bit generous to give here. So in the sense that I think that the Sixers can easily cover that. So I lean Sixers here minus 7.5. Next, we have the Pacers getting 7.5 points at home against the Nets. This Brooklyn team, for as well as they started to play, have lost 3 straight games. 2 decent competition. Philly, Clippers, who played well, and then the red-hot Memphis Grizzlies. Indiana has lost 5 games in a row here. In terms of injuries, LaMarcus Aldridge, questionable for the Nets, and then Indiana has Malcolm Brogdon, doubtful, and a bunch of other injuries that guys are questionable right now. It's a big number, 7.5, but I think if these are 2 teams that are off the track right now, I look at the Nets and say this is a team that gets on track before the Pacers do. And the Pacers are on the second night of a back-to-back. I'm going to lean Nets here minus 7.5. It's a big number, especially given the fact that they have not played well as of late. But if they have Kevin Durant, if they have James Harden healthy, I think that it's safe to lean Brooklyn here. Again, both these teams are off the track. I'm kind of just gambling here on the one that I think gets back on the winning track because one of them has to win tonight, unless you can end in a tie that I'm not aware of. So I think it's Nets here, minus 7.5. Next up, we have the Mavericks hosting the Warriors, plus 5.5 at home. Here is the Mavericks. This Warriors team, we called it against Utah, we called it against Miami. This Warriors team is playing really good basketball. We've picked our spots very wisely with them. But Dallas sneakily now has won 4 of their last 5 as well. They've played some decent teams too and then have won that. But 5.5 points seems like it just isn't enough for me to fade the Warriors in this spot here. We've been rolling with the Warriors pretty much, I don't know, almost every game this season. They've made us a decent amount of money here. And the Mavericks will be without Porzingis, it looks like, as well, as he's downgraded to out due to quarantining. So I think that this is a hammer the Warriors type of spread here. Minus 5.5, again, is what we have right now. Keep an eye on the pinned comment because this is probably everything that we've gone through so far. This probably has the highest chance of being on that, being one of my final plays because I get it, the Warriors are away, but they've played well away. They're 12-4 straight up away this year, 9-6 against the spread. And the Mavericks, funnily enough, 7-10, a losing record at home against the spread. So I lean Warriors in this one big time. That has got a very, very strong chance of making the final ticket. Next up, we have my Boston Celtics hosting the Spurs here, minus 7.5. Last time these 2 teams played, the Celtics did not look too well. That was in late November. Spurs won it. In terms of injuries here, Doug McDermott questionable. DeJounte Murray is also questionable. Celtics, Cantor upgraded to probable. Jabari Parker questionable. Jason Tatum now upgraded to probable. And we saw Tatum come back from COVID last season. He did not look too great. He says this time he feels better. He's going to be better. We'll see. Robert Williams going to be questionable. Langford, Nesmith also questionable. As big of a Celtics fan as I am, you guys know I'm always keeping the bias very much in the equation. I can't even act like, I put the bias aside. No, I'm biased towards the Celtics. I always will be. But this is a spot where I don't love them tonight. I think if they can do this, I think that especially with Jason Tatum coming back and some of those questionable guys probably coming back, I think they are a better team than the Spurs, especially the Spurs being on the back-to-back, and maybe DeJounte Murray does not play in this one just because it's back-to-back. I don't know. But I don't love the 7.5 points here. I don't think the Celtics team is playing good enough basketball to, they've won 2 in a row. Beat Phoenix, that was great. Then they beat Orlando. They almost blew both those games, really. Outside of that, if you look past those 2 games, they lost 4 to their last 5 prior to that against some bad teams. So I'm still, clinging on to my Celtics fandom and hoping that they get better and better and better. But I don't love 7.5 points here. I think that number's a little bit too high. So this is probably a stay-away game for me because I can't bet against the Celtics. Not that I even love the Spurs in this spot either. I think the Spurs on the second night of a back-to-back could hurt them. and Celtics at home. Yeah, I'm just gonna stick away from this one because I don't like betting. I can get enough enjoyment hoping my Celtics win by 1 point than trying to win by 8. Next we have the Minnesota Timberwolves -8 over the Thunder here, and we've kind of been like, weirdly enough, a a Timberwolves hater. We've bet against them, and it seems like it always works for us. I don't know if we're doing that tonight though. 8 points, we might. I lean Thunder, I'll be completely honest, but it comes down to their injury report. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is probable. Baisley is probable. Man probable. Dort is out. That hurts. But it comes down to the injury report here because Minnesota, D'Angelo Russell and Karl-Anthony Towns are both questionable. So if those guys are out, if we can keep an eye on the injury report and those guys are out and we could still get this line at +8, if SGA plays, Karl-Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell don't play, I do love the away dog here, Thunder +8. So we'll keep an eye on the injury report. That's my lean, but I'm not officially saying that I'm fading the Timberwolves tonight, all right? I'm not a Timberwolves hater, I promise, but we've had some luck with them this year. All right, next we have the Bucks hosting the Raptors here. Bucks 8-point favorites. The Raptors covered for us last night. They're on a second night of a back-to-back. They've won 3 games in a row. The Bucks had won 6 games in a row and then somehow lost a game to Detroit when they were 17-point favorites. That's kind of tough. I don't really know exactly how that happened. These two teams played just about a month ago. A lot of injuries and health and safety protocols during that, but Toronto beat the Bucks by 5. This 8 points is a little bit too much. I could keep it off my final ticket, but man, oh man, I lean Bucks here. They are coming back. They have to come back with some fire under their ass because they just lost to one of, if not the worst team in the league. And in terms of injuries, nothing overly alarming on Milwaukee's side of things, and nothing overly alarming on Toronto. Both fairly healthy in terms of their key guys this game. I'm gonna lean the Bucks here. I wish that line wasn't 8 because I do think that the Bucks can have like a statement win, or no, not a statement win, but a get back in the winning column type win over Toronto and win by 7 points type of thing. Like they don't need to crush them. So that 8 points is a little worrisome, but I do lean Bucks here -8. Next, we have the Kings, 1-point favorites over the Atlanta Hawks. We know we call the Atlanta Hawks on the road the Atlanta Pigeons. We have Bojan Bogdanovic out, John Collins out, Hunter still out, Trae Young questionable, Cam Reddish questionable, and then Sacramento, notable injuries would be Rashawn Holmes questionable here. This Hawks team has actually been playing really, really poorly. 3-7 in their last 10 games. Sacramento's 4-6 in the last 10 games. These are two teams that just are not playing very well. But I will say this: if Trae Young plays, then I guess I lean the Hawks. If Trae Young doesn't play, then I'm all over the Kings in this one. The Hawks seem to be missing everybody, a lot of crucial players. I don't know who's going to score the ball for them if Trae Young doesn't. But honestly, I would probably say right now my mind is at an 80% lean towards the Kings here, -1, and a 20% lean towards the Hawks. Because even if Trae Young plays, like I will say I will follow the top end talent there and lean Hawks if that's the case, especially getting a point. But even if Trae Young plays, like I'm not confident in that one. You guys know I keep it fully transparent here. Like when I say that I lean either way there, this is probably one that is so far from getting on the final ticket. I'll just be honest. Next, we have the Blazers -1 over the Heat here at home. In terms of injuries, looks like Jimmy Butler's downgraded to out. Bam Adebayo still out. Duncan Robinson out. Morris still out. And then Portland, Damian Lillard is out. CJ McCollum, as we know, is out. And Cody Zeller out. Miami's lost 2 games in a row. Portland beat Atlanta just a couple nights ago before, after losing a bunch of games in a row as well. I think I like Miami here. They have a couple more scorers, in my opinion, than Portland. They are on the road. I get it. That's a big time, East Coast to West Coast type of trip for these guys. But Miami has been a decent against the spread team away here. They are 12-10 against the spread away, and Blazers are 10-11 against the spread at home. I get it. A lot of crucial guys are missing. Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler really obviously matter to the Heat. Bam Adebayo hasn't played in 20 years, it seems. Jimmy Butler now downgraded to out, but I think the Heat have a couple more scorers and a couple guys that can actually create more than Portland does without Lillard and without McCollum. So I'm going to lean Miami here +1. Next, we have the Nuggets hosting the Jazz here. Nuggets getting 5 points at home. In terms of injuries here, we have Bogdanovic is questionable. Clarkson's probable. Gobert is questionable. That's one to keep an eye on. And Donovan Mitchell is probable. The Nuggets, no crazily new injuries there to keep an eye on, but this Utah team covered first a couple nights ago against the Pelicans. But Denver, lost to Dallas, but they had won 3 straight prior to that. I think that I still lean Utah here. I think this Utah team is better than people. I think people are starting to sleep on them again. They started the season fairly hot. They're 27-10 now still. I do like the Jazz in this one. 5 points seems like nothing to me against a Denver team who's been very, very inconsistent. And, even looking at against the spread here at home, this Denver team is 6-8 against the spread at home, whereas Utah against the spread away is 10-6. So I lean Utah in this one. But guys, it's going to wrap it up for my leans and for us going through each and every game. Let's jump into the hashtag of the day. And again, this is how you can get shouted out. But before we do that, I want to say one last time, keep an eye on the pinned comment, guys. That's where my final plays will be. A lot of tough games going on and tough updates with injuries and health and safety and all that. So keep an eye on the pinned comment, guys. That's where my final plays will be. I update it throughout the day, and then obviously, as I put those in and as I list them, that's when I've locked it in for myself. That's the number that I got. That's the number I'm rolling with. But let's get into the hashtag of the day here, guys. Hashtag of the day, hashtag Jan. And it's just Jan. Am I saying that right? Jan. Hashtag Jan, abbreviation for January, because it's only 5 days into January, but we've had a very good January so far. So, let's get a little soundboard round of applause for Ev having a good 4 days so far. Hey, who would have thought? But hashtag Jan in the comments, guys. Give me your locks, give me your plays, whatever you're rolling with tonight. If you guys have a positive or winning night, that is how you can be randomly selected to be shouted out in tomorrow's video. So again, all you got to do is use hashtag Jan in the comments. Give me your picks. It could be 1 pick, it could be 10 picks. If you guys have a positive night, a winning night, you guys got a chance to be shouted out in tomorrow's video. But until then, guys, I will catch you later. Everyone make some bread tonight, and peace out.